It's that time once again as another My Hero Academia episode has come and gone, and I've got to go beyond to give it a review. My reviews are going to work in a way where I talk about the new episode and its contents while glancing over what I thought was cool, talk about my favorite character for the episode and least favorite, and then talk about my favorite and least favorite moment from the episode as well. Let's get right into things and see if Deku has what it takes to work for Sir Nighteye. Episode 3 picks right back up at Sir Nighteye's agency, with Nighteye continuing to grill Midoriya for the face he made intimidating All Might. We get to learn that Nighteye is a lot more than just All Might's former sidekick. He's a pretty massive fan as well. A conversation goes down between Deku and Nighteye that would make any All Might fan flush, and afterwards, it becomes relatively clear that the mutual admiration for All Might isn't going to be enough for Sir Nighteye to just let Deku join him. After a conversation regarding the desire Nighteye has to be around Deku, he lays down a challenge for our young protagonist. If Deku can capture Sir Nighteye's stamp and use it himself on his internship form, then he'll be able to join the agency. Nighteye excuses Mirio and Bubble Girl, and a one-on-one battle between pro hero and student begins. Deku makes great use of his quirk and some moves picked up from Gran Torino here, zipping around the room and doing all he can to try and nab the stamp from Nighteye's hand. He fails constantly in the beginning, and we find out why thanks to the usual interlude from Present Mike detailing Nighteye's quirk, Foresight. All Sir Nighteye needs to do to activate his quirk is touch someone and lock eyes with them, and from there he'll know every move they will make for the following hour before they can even make them. It is essentially something like being able to see the future as far as we actually know. Deku puts to action everything he can think of, but continues to just miss out on grabbing the stamp, making him question his own abilities in the moment. Sir Nighteye reveals to Deku during the trial that he actually did have high expectations for him, seeing as he was chosen by All Might to take over One For All, but laments the fact that there is nothing special about him. Nighteye suggests that All Might should have let Mirio take over One For All instead, and the worries this instills in Deku weigh down on him hard. The idea that Nighteye cannot accept Deku as All Might's successor drives him to go beyond and pull out every stop to get that stamp from Sir Nighteye. In Deku's mind, regardless of what anyone else thinks, All Might chosen to be his successor, and he will do everything possible to prove that decision was the right one. Nighteye remarks that Deku shows himself as being too worried and indecisive, and that he has probably been taught many times how to not act that way. And yet when pressed to put it into practice, he fails at doing so. Deku tries one last time to take the stamp by throwing a bookshelf at Nighteye and causing books and papers to get in his line of sight, thinking that his Foresight is only able to see what Deku does, but not what the object will do. This plan ultimately fails, and the 3-minute mark is hit, meaning Deku was unsuccessful. Sir Nighteye reveals that he'd actually planned to take on Deku at his agency the whole time, from the moment that Mirio had mentioned bringing him by. As it turns out, Nighteye didn't say Deku couldn't join if he didn't take the stamp from him in 3 minutes. So regardless of this failure, he will accept him. Regardless of his acceptance of Deku or not, Nighteye admits that he isn't useless. However, even if it goes against All Might's decision, Nighteye fully intends to surround Deku with pro heroes in an attempt to make him realize who is truly deserving of One For All. From there, we move back to the rest of 1A, and we find out that the other two members of the Big Three at UA want to see Froppy, Uraraka, and Kirishima to probably discuss something related to internships. Tokiyami is also recruited by the number 3 hero, Hawks, and will be joining him on an internship. The rest of the class isn't touched upon much except for a funny gag with Todoroki and Bakugo, whom I really hope continue to play off one another for the rest of this season. The episode concludes its final few minutes of Deku reporting for his official day at work of Sir Nighteye. It is revealed that they will be following Overhaul and his current plans, as Sir Nighteye has been secretly investigating him and his group for some time. This is Deku's first time seeing Overhaul, so it looks like we're going to get to see this part of the story finally come to the forefront. Deku will team with Mirio and Sir Nighteye with Bubble Girl, and they're not to let Overhaul figure out what they're essentially keeping him under surveillance. That doesn't seem to work out too well though, as in post-credits scene, we're finally introduced to the young one-horned girl we've seen in the opening and ending, Eri. Eri is running away from someone through an alleyway, begging for help. As she escapes onto a sidewalk, she bumps into someone, Deku. The fledgling symbol of peace offers to help her, but she winces back before Overhaul steps out of the alleyway as well, telling her she shouldn't bother the heroes. The scene ends here, and next week we're going to be learning a shocking truth from All Might that is sure to turn heads. So who is my favorite character this episode? Well, it's gotta be Sir Nighteye. We got to learn a lot about him and find out exactly what he thinks about Deku. We've never really seen anyone who knows about Deku's connection to All Might so vehemently disagree with the decision to pass One For All onto him. It almost feels like Nighteye will not be swayed that Deku isn't the one for this responsibility, unless shown otherwise. It's very compelling to see perhaps the one person who knows All Might best on this entire planet be the biggest detractor to one of his important decisions. His quirk is also very cool, being able to see what someone will do for an hour into the future. Feels like it would be really useful for a hero when it comes to tracking down a villain or just defeating one in a fight. I look forward to getting to learn more about Nighteye as the series goes on, and I'm especially excited to find out just what he told All Might that came to pass and sour the relationship. I didn't really have a least favorite character or moment in this episode. It was just that good. I'll say that my favorite moment was definitely the post-credits scene. However short it was, finally getting to see this new girl character Eri got me dying to watch the next episode, specifically so I could learn more about her and why she is with Overhaul. I think it's pretty clear that she doesn't want to be with him, and that for some reason he seems to be acting like she belongs with him. We know Overhaul isn't exactly a good guy, and I can only assume that Eri will be the catalyst between him and getting with Mirio and Deku. I cannot wait to find out more about this whole situation. Like I mentioned briefly before, the next episode preview seems like it's going to feature All Might spilling the beans about what Sir Nighteye had warned him about and where he would end up. The way that preview makes it sound, it almost seems like All Might will admit to Deku that he knows he will die at some point soon, and I'm really not prepared for that. It's nothing new in shonen anime for a mentor to die, but My Hero has been pretty good about keeping the main characters alive for its run this far in the anime. However, all good things must come to an end, and I know at some point we're going to start losing main characters, possibly even at a rapid pace. I just don't think I'm ready to accept the idea that we could possibly lose All Might. It's devastating, but who knows what might happen. Well, obviously manga readers do, but we anime people don't. So I'm sure starting the next episode though, we're going to start seeing the bigger picture when it comes to All Might's future. That's going to do it for my review of My Hero Academia Season 4, Episode 3, Boy Meets. If you guys enjoyed this one, let me know in the comments below, and subscribe to Mystic Sage notifications on so you don't miss my review of the 4th season's next great episode. I've got a lot of great videos about My Hero Academia already on the channel, and about plenty of other anime as well. I hope you guys are as hyped to go plus ultra as I am, and I'll see you guys next time with another review of My Hero Academia Season 4.